Here we are standing amidst these beautiful red rocks that look like they're right out of some part of Utah or Arizona. But actually, we're in Caprock Canyon State Park in Texas. And these rocks behind me tell quite the geologic story. The lowest red rocks that you see are from the Permian period, and they're part of the Quartermaster Formation. The Quartermaster Formation was deposited on a broad tidal flat at the edge of the continent. And we know the climate at that time in this part of Texas was very arid because in with the muds and the sands that you see in that formation, there's also a lot of gypsum. Now, on top of the Quartermaster Formation is the Dockum Formation. And the Dockum Formation consists mostly of fluvial deposits, that's river deposits. And they date to the Triassic period, the earliest period of the dinosaurs. And back at those times, there was a mountain range to our southeast, the Washita Marathon Mountains. And there's this big river system that flowed from those mountains all the way across Texas, across New Mexico, across Arizona, and into Nevada, which at that time was a shallow sea. And if you look back there and you see towards the upper part of the rock layers, it's not quite as red. That's some of the Dockum Formation. And in that river that flowed all the way from Texas to Nevada, well, if you go to Arizona, you see petrified forest, and the trees were buried in river sediments, and that's the same river. So the same river that was creating the petrified forest and depositing the Chin-Lee Formation over in Arizona was depositing the Dockum Formation here in Texas. Now, at the top of the Dockum is what's called an unconformity, a time where we just don't have any rocks. Either they didn't form, or more likely, they got eroded away. And so we're missing most of the rest of the Mesozoic and the early Cenozoic. And then in the middle Cenozoic, we get the Ogallala Formation deposited. And that's the way top of the mesas you see behind me. And the Ogallala Formation consists of sand and gravel, and that was deposited by rivers flowing off a different mountain range. Now we have the Rocky Mountains to the west, and we had rivers coming off the Rocky Mountains and carrying all that sediment and depositing as the Ogallala Formation. Now, the story doesn't end here. We actually have a little bit of wildlife to talk about. This is also the place where there's the Texas State Bison Herd. And the reason it's here goes back to 1878, when Marianne Goodnight was lamenting the fact that the bison were being slaughtered almost to extinction, and she went to her husband and basically told him, do something about it. And her husband, famous cattleman Charles Goodnight, set aside 600 acres of his ranch where bison could roam unmolested, and the herd you see today here at Caprock Canyons is the descendant of that herd.